welcome to the OpenAthens event. Celebrating 30 years, so I was reflecting 30 years. What was I doing 30 years ago? I was working as a researcher in a University of Glasgow, and I was looking at communication in teams and how different teams affected the innovation in companies, or the communication in teams, how that made a difference to whether a company was innovative or not. And interestingly enough, we did find that teams that communicated much more freely, so there wasn't a sort of hub and spoke model where everybody spoke to everybody, were more innovative, and there was a sort of innovation index. Anyway, just reflecting back on 30 years. As you can hear, my career, I have started my career as a researcher a little while ago, and spent, after that time as a researcher, my career working in higher education. So I've held numerous roles, started off on the technical side of things, but then more and more into the leadership management of university, including a stint as the librarian at the University of York, actually, where I live now. So a good understanding of what challenges are there in libraries and what they need to do to make the customer experience as smooth as possible. Just keeping that theme about my career, I've been at Jisc for about 3.5 years now. Obviously, OpenAthens had joined us a little bit before that. But I'm really here to emphasize what John was saying around how important that coming together has been. And I think that's for a number of reasons. Sorry, could we just go into the next slide, please? That's for a number of reasons. Because Jisc's raison d'etre and Jisc's values are all about supporting world-class education and research, and getting access to knowledge is a key part of that. So as an organisation, we have 3 pillars to our strategy, which is about delivering the right solutions. Obviously, OpenAthens is absolutely key in that. Empowering communities, OpenAthens pretty key on that one too. And we had this one, a pillar, being a force for good. And we had considerable debate with our board and executive leadership team about this, but we really felt that captured what we did as an organisation. And as you can see, that just fits. This is why the 2 organisations coming together has been so successful, because we have our values, and our modus operandi has been about all of those things that are key to OpenAthens. And also in Jisc, we really believe, so John was talking about change, and I could not agree more, that innovation and change is, first of all, change is always going to happen, but that adaptation to it, that innovation, that change, absolutely key. And Jisc strive to be an innovator and a thought leader in the world of higher further education and research. I think the other thing to say when I was reflecting back over 30 years was I was thinking how much I sort of matched what Jisc had done and what OpenAthens had done in terms of where they'd started. So, I started in universities. Jisc started a lot of its services in universities, and OpenAthens did as well. So a real overlap there in terms of what we are and what we do. And I think that has been the key to the success of that relationship, because as you'll know, OpenAthens has gone from strength to strength. Can I have the next slide, please? I just wanted to reflect a little bit. So here's some great quotes from our customers, people who use the things that we do in OpenAthens. So these are people who are our users, either they're publishers or they're librarians. And I think the thing that said to me, and again backs up what John was saying, is that what OpenAthens has been focusing on is that removing those barriers, you know, only having one username and password, making those things as straightforward as possible on the surface to the customers, the people who are the researchers and students who are trying to get access to that content, removing barriers. From a librarian perspective, doing that heavy lifting. There's lots of technicalities to making a single sign-on service. And what OpenAthens has done is removed all of that grunt. You know, somebody else takes care of that. So you, as a librarian or a publisher, actually can really get down to the nub of doing those things that are very important for your customers. So having that sort of simple to use, you know, minimizing barriers has been absolutely key. I think John showed a little quote around how many people use the OpenAthens service. So about 8 million users worldwide. Now that's a big number, whichever way you look at it. And I think some of the other bits that are important about OpenAthens is that it's really international, and we've proven that, haven't we, from the chat panel earlier on. It is something that is needed across the world. It's an international membership. It is solving that problem internationally. And also multiple industries. So John mentioned health. There's obviously universities, public libraries, research institutions, and there's large numbers of organizations that need that access to content. Not just in the library, the pure library space, if I think of university library space or public library space. And so really made a big difference there. And interestingly enough, Jisc works across different bits of industry, allied sectors. So again, sorry, I keep coming back to the same point, that there is so much similarities. Okay, so I've said that this has been powerful for OpenAthens, but also very, very good for Jisc. What is it that we have been able to do? So I think with OpenAthens becoming part of Jisc is a larger organisation than EduServe, the previous organisation ever was. So it's those economies of scale that we've been able to support with. It's those contacts in different areas. It's the innovation, people with different views across the Jisc business able to feed in. Skills that can be moved around. So I'd say this really has been a very good partnership. Okay, I'm going to stop there and see if anybody's got any questions for me. Very happy to take questions. Yep, there are some of our customers. Very happy to take questions. John, if you, I'll hand over to you.
Yeah, sure. I was nodding vigorously, Hyde. I should have had my camera
I just couldn't see you though, John.
I was nodding vigorously through everything you said. So thank you so much for that. It's so true. We get lots of questions about the sort of the global breadth of OpenAthens. I had a question about you know, how often do you interact with your international peers or colleagues, and kind of are there any key themes that you've picked up on through those discussions?
Yeah, so I spend quite a lot of my time talking to people in the international arena because, as you know, research is global. And one of the major services that Jisc provides is what we call an NREN, a National Research and Education Network. And by that network, I mean internet. And so I talk to my peers in lots of different countries. What are the key themes? I mean, I think at the moment, the key themes are the value of education and research is being challenged. And that's difficult, isn't it? I mean, I think one of the things that we have in this community is trust. You know, people trust each other to a degree which is not always seen in other industries. And I think we have to try really hard to maintain that, because I think that trust across international boundaries is vital.
Thanks for that, Heidi. There was and I guess that there's a question about collaboration actually, and how important that you see is collaboration across different sectors, organizations, institutions.
Oh,
I guess that mirrors what you just said about the
absolutely vital. Again, yeah. I mean, I think trust is one bit, isn't it? You collaborate with the people that you trust. And I think there are lots of things at the moment in education, and I'm talking about the UK, but I know these challenges exist in other nations as well, where budgets are under pressure. So that collaboration to do things together is a good way of saving money, improving services. So absolutely vital, John. Collaborate.
Brilliant. So Heidi, I'm going to say thank you there, because we've got Hilke is lined up to talk about trust and identity in the future as well. But I just want to say massive thank you.
You're very welcome, and I hope the rest
didn't know
of
you were a librarian.
Yeah.
Or had worked in the library. That explains a lot of the challenging and difficult questions that you often ask. So thank you for sharing that.
I hope the rest of your day goes well.
Thank you very much.